Cereal, kilobytes, and affection. Cereal, kilobytes, and affection. Steve Willis.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. A few years ago, Kellogg's ran an advertisement campaign in which their punchline was, "Try them again for the first time." Do you remember that? It was a successful campaign. It was almost genius in its simplicity. But if you were to do a Google search, you would be surprised to find out how many times in different ways that phrase has been used since then. For everything from tires to light bulbs to some things we can't mention here. But try them again as if for the first time. And it is that phrase that comes to my mind when I think of some recent interactions that I had with my family. To begin with, my wife and I have been married for 17 plus years. And we dated for 6 years prior to that. So we are fairly comfortable and confident with the foundations of our relationship. Maybe even too comfortable. Because I have noticed that sometimes we have the tendency to let the value of our relationship come down to an equal plane with some of the stressors that are in our life. The two of us have even allowed it to take a back seat on some of those occasions when we have some stressful matters come at us. For example, kids, life, stress, my recent involvement with nursing school. We had a bout of flu that just recently went through Chattanooga and just about laid all of us flat. No, allowing our relationship to take a back seat has not been necessarily a good thing. Because I realized one morning recently that it had been probably almost an entire month and my wife and I had not even given each other a hug. I was mentioning it to a friend of mine. I said, I was just feeling lonely or stressful or something the other day, and I reached out for my wife. She wasn't there. I realized, hey, we're all busy. I don't need to interrupt also her schedule. We are confident in our relationship, right? But as the week went on, it really began to get on my nerves. I began to say, this is unusual. So my friend emailed me back real quick. Now, they've been divorced twice. They said, Steve, this is not good. Well, I emailed back. I said, it can't be that bad. I know it looks bad, but hey, we love each other. We're committed. We're in this for the long haul. No, Steve. Can't you two talk about these things? You should do that. So I cornered my wife. I said, sweets, come sit by me on the couch. I know you're busy. This will only take a minute. Come sit by me. I said, Heidi, what would it take for us to come closer? What would it take for us to be stronger? And she knew where I was headed. She said, wow, we've been so busy, and the kids had temperatures of 103, 104, and you too, you were just trying to stagger to your test and study. I didn't want to bother you. And I said, I know, Heidi, but stress is probably always going to be part of our life. What would it take for us to rise above it, to know that we're strong? And right there, we recommitted the value of our relationship to each other. But he didn't stop there. I mean, it's been tremendous. It's been exciting discovering each other as if for the first time, even after 17 years. But a few nights later, I don't know how it happened, but I was having a fun pillow fight with my daughter. And we've never done this before. She's 13 years old, and we were just having such a ball that when I finally said, okay, precious, it's time to turn the lights out, time to go to bed, she didn't want to stop. After almost a decade of me being a truck driver and her having very little daddy time, she was just getting started. She said, Daddy, I want to show you something, but it's in the living room. So I said, okay, all right. So we hurried down the hall. She went into the living room. She sat on the edge of the couch, and she grabbed the back of the couch in a barrel. Well, I quickly started to catch on to the rules of this new contest. I was supposed to somehow wiggle her free and pull her across the living room, and if she grabs the banister or another chair, I was supposed to get her all the way down the hall to her bedroom, get her up on the bed, and cover her with the bed cover. Now guys, you can picture a contest. We are good. We can focus. We say, okay, here's what I need to do. ABC, I'm going to tickle her on her hip bones. She'll have to let go. I'm going to throw her over my shoulder, run down the hall, and I'm going to win. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, no sooner as I had won the contest, I realized I had just blown the game. As I started to see the look of frustration and maybe even hurt come across her face, us guys have been there before. I said, Precious, I am sorry. Come on, let's do it again. So this time we went, and pretty soon we were having so much fun that because what didn't matter was whether I won or not. What mattered was the process itself. In fact, we were having so much fun that pretty soon my wife and my 9-year-old son were in on it. They each had one of my arms or one of my legs, and they were dragging me down the hall, trying to get me down the hall. You know, forget the rules, forget the rug burn, but I can't remember when we had so much fun as a family. I don't know why Kellogg's was so successful with their campaign, but the humor of it didn't slip by me. Taking such things as affection and commitments and love, first loves towards a bowl of cereal, it cracked me up every time I'd hear it. But if I take that same list and feel like I'm even proposing to my family, commitments, values, first loves, to let this treasure that I hold in my hands not lose its significance, to try them again as if for the first time. Mr. Contest Master.